Hi guys, welcome to Crime Time, and I'm Alice Neary. I'm going to call this video Cop on Cop. Was it a police cover-up? You guys be the judge. I'm going to start by telling you what the police have said, what they investigated, what their conclusions were. I'm also going to tell you what the newspapers said and the news stations, and then I'm going to tell you what I personally witnessed. The two cops that are involved happen to be boyfriend and girlfriend. They worked in the same department in one county, and then they shared a home in another county. That's important to remember. They were both found early one morning by her young daughter. They each had single gunshot wounds to their heads. 911 was called, and immediately an investigation was on full force. They, came to determine that he had shot her. Then, unfortunately, he turned the gun on himself and shot himself. How did this all start? Well, from what's being said is they both had off that evening. She wanted to go out with her girlfriends, have a few drinks out on the town. And so that's what she went and did. And he decided to stay home with their 5 children from previous relationships. So later that night, she came home drunk. A verbal altercation ensued. It led into their bedroom where she had apparently, pulled out her gun, and he said something like, really? Like he didn't know what was going on. And somehow then he shot her, and then he shot himself, unfortunately. Now, the investigation led the police to determine that he shot himself under the chin. They came to that conclusion because of the velocity and the pattern of the blood, and they also stated that they found some tissue and some of his teeth on the bed, on the top of the mattress. So, the news and everything said the same thing. She had gone through a trial, and she was found, to be not responsible for any of this. She then went back to work in the department as a sergeant. And, she had many surgeries to fix the side of her face. She was shot here, just above her left ear. It was terrible. Her face was, completely destroyed on this side. The facial injuries were just terrible to her jaw, her teeth, and her ear canal. She says that she does not remember being shot. Like I said, apparently her gun after ballistics wasn't shown to be used at all. And, she walked away. Now, what I witnessed personally, I was called by a detective in the same police department as these two police officers came from. And so I went down there and he explained what was going on and explained that FOP was going to pay me. They usually pay for police officers, you know, crime scenes and burials and things like that. So he gave me the address. I went to the scene, and 9 times out of 10, the police officers have already cleared the scene and everybody's gone, and just the family is left there. This time I arrived, there was no family, none to speak of from either side. And there were a few police officers there and the chief of police, which was very strange. Never in all my years has ever the chief of the police department come to the scene. It was his county where they lived, but they weren't his officers. Okay, none of my business. So we walked in the scene, introduced ourselves. That day, I happened to have one of my employees that her daughter works as a detective with CSI, along with these police officers. So in conversation, the chief heard that, and he was not happy to hear that her daughter was CSI. He demanded then and there that I remove her from the scene and replace her, that he did not want her there. I informed the chief that this is my corporation and I will continue to have her there and we will start on the scene. Now, he was very unhappy, so we did not start out on a good foot. He was constantly over our shoulders, watching everything we did, would not leave us alone. We started making our bio boxes, and he asked me if I take inventory of what I put in those biohazard boxes. And I said, no, I don't. I don't get very specific, but I do have, a roundabout where I say sheets or tile or wood, things like that. The chief told me that it is not okay for me to have any kind of inventory of what was going in those bio boxes. He absolutely forbid it. Okay. I was okay with that. That's fine. We went into the hallway, and as a crime scene cleaner, part of the job is, you have to go through the whole house. You have to look for body fluids, anything like that with blood on it, or, skull, anything. And, we have to look in the bathroom for blood, everywhere. That's our job. So I started to go up the stairs to go to the second floor, and the chief stopped me in my tracks, would not let me go up those stairs. He told me that he would not allow me up there, that everything is fine up there, that they did an investigation and I was not to proceed up there. I told the chief that that's part of my job, that I have to do that, and he demanded that I turn around and not go up those stairs. Okay. Then we went into the bedroom where, the main incident occurred. And I noticed that, the the bed was all made, and I saw quite a bit of blood spatter, and we have to look at everything and examine it, make sure nothing has blood or fluid on it. So as usual, I start to pull the bedspread down, and the chief, once again, stopped me, would not allow me to pull that bedspread down. Again, I informed him that I had to do it, especially since, they were both shot in this room. I had to do it. He absolutely lost control and again demanded that I not do that. Okay, once again, I looked up and noticed there was no blood spatter up on the ceiling, nowhere high on the walls. I didn't notice, but maybe 2 tiny little spots of blood on the bedspread. There was no tissue. There were no teeth. The bedspread was definitely there during the scene, but not hardly anything on it. Then I noticed a huge pool of blood on the floor at the end of the bed. So that's obviously where he shot himself. Because also there was a dresser, and it had a big round mirror attached to it. That mirror and the dresser was covered with blood spatter to lead me to believe, in my personal opinion, that the person was, if they did kill themselves, they shot this way or this way, and everything went to the side. Nothing went up. I also noticed the bedside table on the left had a drawer missing, but also there was a single bullet hole where the drawer would have been, and it went right through, and it was very low to the ground. I wondered, we all know how high nightstands are, not really high. Excuse me. And what's a bullet hole doing down there? Almost as if, she was laying down or sleeping or kneeling. I'm not really sure. But she certainly wasn't standing. So that was odd. We ended up cleaning that room, and we started working our way out because apparently after she was shot, she had dragged herself through the house and out into the front yard. And that's where her young daughter had found her. So we are, cleaning our way out and going through and doing the floor, and we had to remove some shoes and some other items that had some blood spatter on it. And there that chief is right there. We finished the scene, and everything was all done. We started to take our supplies and our tools and everything out to the trailer, and I sit down to write up the invoice to give to the detective. And of course, that chief is right over my shoulder watching me write, and he told me that all I could put on that invoice was the address and the total amount due. I could not put anything else on that invoice, not how many boxes, and he specifically even told me I can't even tell the detective what room it took place in. Nothing. And FOP, they're the one flipping the bill, and I couldn't tell them. So I took my orders, and as we started to walk out the front door, the deputy, or the chief, actually threatened us and told us that we are to never speak of this scene and what we saw, what took place. Nothing. I couldn't do any of that. So we left. We were very excited to get out of that county. We went back to the police department, and I stood in front of the detective and gave him basically a blank invoice. And I've worked with him for years. He knows I don't hand in invoices like that. He asked me why it was incomplete. And I told him exactly what the chief told me to tell him. That, there it is. Tell the detective nothing, he said. So I told the detective, he told me to tell you nothing. The detective was quite shocked. He was very shocked to learn that actually the chief of police in that county was actually on scene with me the whole time. So he said he would take care of it, and he had a check sitting there waiting for me. I could not wait to get in my car and get out of there. We both said, my employee and I, we are ready to go home. Now, I've got a lot of friends on the police force, many police forces. I have worked all over the state of Florida for 19 years. I know many detectives and many police officers in these two counties. I have since learned that the girlfriend actually, let's say, worked her way up the ladder in the police force. Let's say she got a little extra, if you know what I'm saying. And apparently, she had evidence of this. Apparently, she had pictures of her in compromising positions with the higher ups. And I bet you can guess who was included in that. So, apparently, Kat came out and everybody found out about these pictures. And that's how she got her promotion. But you know how local politics work. It all depends on, who you know. So let's just say that this is a scene that makes you go, Alice Neary with CrimeTime. Thanks for watching.